Welcome to AI Sports Predictor, where analysis meets storytelling, and the AI just discovered bluegrass music. Let me tell you, folks, it's something else. Listening to bluegrass, our AI said, human creativity fascinates me. Each banjo strum feels like decoding complex patterns. And yet, it resonates like a familiar heartbeat. We're hooked. Let's dive in. Game 1, Atlanta Hawks vs Orlando Magic. You know what's funny about the Hawks? Just when you think Trae Young's cooled off, the man drops 35 points and 14 assists like his pocket change. But here's the kicker. He didn't make the All-Star game. I guess averaging 11.4 assists per game and dropping 30+ in 4 out of 5 games wasn't enough to impress the voting panel. Revenge tour engaged. Niang and LeVert are the shiny new toys from the deadline deal. Niang popped off for 16 points with 4 threes in his first run with the team. And you've got this kid, Zachary Risika, quietly contributing 11.3 points per game, and Dyson Daniels holding down the wing with 13.8. Defense, they're ranked 26th, giving up 118.8 per game, but they're 8th in scoring at 116.2. Offense isn't the problem, getting stops is. Orlando, though, they play a different brand of ball. They've been steady, keeping the young core intact instead of wheeling and dealing. Franz Wagner is their headliner, 25 points, 5.6 rebounds, 5.1 assists. Banchero backs him up with 22.1 ppg, but man. Injuries this season hit them like a hammer. They started strong, once sitting third in the East, but those injuries dragged them down. Even so, their defense is second best in the league, allowing just 105.7 per game. Offense, dead last. They barely scraped together 104 points on a good night. So, why take the Magic at minus 5.5? Because Atlanta's defense leaks like a rusty pipe. The Hawks might score, but Orlando's defense won't make it easy. Trae Young's firepower will keep things interesting. But when you have a defense ranked 26th and an offense running on pure adrenaline, those cracks will show. And today's AI pick is the Orlando Magic at minus 5.5. Why? Because you can't trust a team that thinks scoring alone will save them. Trae Young can light up the scoreboard, but Orlando's defense is like a boa constrictor. It doesn't just stop you. It squeezes the life out of you. Banchero and Wagner won't need to drop 40 each. They'll grind this game down to their pace, force bad shots, and take care of business. Atlanta will run, but Orlando will control where they run to. Now, sit back, relax, and watch as the Magic make every possession feel like a chore for the Hawks. The clock won't just be ticking, it'll be suffocating. On to Game 2.
Game 2 Minnesota Timberwolves vs. Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's set the stage. The Timberwolves come into Cleveland riding momentum, and they're hunger chasing the Clippers in the standings and fresh off a comeback win without their big guns, Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle, and Mike Conley. They lit up Portland with a dominant 38-14 fourth quarter. Jaden McDaniels dropped 30, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker filled in for Edwards, shooting lights out with 23 points. But Cleveland's not just any team. They're sitting atop the NBA with a 4-2-10 record. And when you've got Donovan Mitchell casually tossing in 33 points, Evan Mobley adding 27, and Jerry Allen cleaning up with 12 and 12. You understand why they've built a 6-game cushion over the Celtics. Minnesota's defense is top-notch, no question. Fourth in points allowed, 6th in three-point defensive, but Cleveland's firepower is something else. They're second in scoring, first in three-point shooting, and have the league's top offensive efficiency. And the Wolves, as good as they are on the road, they're not walking into an easy night at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. Why take the Cavaliers 8.5? Simple. The Wolves might be one of the better road teams, but this isn't your average opponent. Cleveland's shooting efficiency will expose the cracks in the Wolves' defense. And Dander Hunter's addition isn't just a name on the roster. He's a perimeter defender with range who can disrupt the very three-point game the Wolves rely on. And today's AI pick is the Cleveland Cavaliers at 8.5. Expect Mitchell to lead the charge, with Mobley and Allen owning the paint. Minnesota will put up a fight, but by the third quarter, you'll see why Cleveland's the top dog. The Cavs will control the tempo, stretch the floor, and remind everyone why they've got the league's best record. On to Game 3.
Game 3 Boston Celtics vs. Miami Heat. The Celtics are on a tear, no doubt about it. They've won 5 of their last 6. With Jason Tatum lighting up the Knicks for 40 points and Peyton Pritchard adding 25, their three-point shooting, his Dublino team makes more threes per game. and they rank 6th in scoring with 117.5 points per game. Tatum, Brown, and Porzingis form a trio that can outscore opponents and make you question why you even showed up. They're a contender. But we're not here to talk about Boston steamrolling Miami. We're here to talk about why that's not going to happen tonight. Let's start with Miami. Sure, they've been inconsistent. They've dropped 3 of their last 5, and Jimmy Butler's gone and traded for Andrew Wiggins. But here's the thing about Wiggins: he's not here to fill Butler's shoes. He's here to redefine Miami's flow. At 17.6 points per game, Wiggins is a stabilizer, not a savior, and that's exactly what Miami needs: a scorer who complements Herro and Adebayo without stepping on their toes. Tyler Herro is averaging 23.7 points per game and will be the key to cracking Boston's defense. He's a sharpshooter who can punish any defensive lapse, and tonight, he'll be playing with a chip on his shoulder. Bam Adebayo? A double-double machine with 16.4 points and 10 rebounds per game. He's going to be a thorn in Porzingis' side all night long. Bam doesn't just rebound, he fights for every loose ball like it owes him rent. The Heat's defense is their secret weapon, ranking 7th in the league, allowing just 110.6 points per game. Boston may be lethal from 3, but Miami's perimeter defense isn't here to play catch-up, it's here to lock down shooters and force contested looks. You think Tatum's going to coast to another 40-point game? Not when Wiggins, Herro, and Adebayo take turns making his life difficult. Boston has covered in the last 4 meetings, but this is where that streak ends. Miami's at home, fighting for playoff positioning, and they'll play with the kind of desperation that doesn't show up on stat sheets but wins games. The Celtics may be the better team on paper, but tonight, paper won't matter. And today's AI pick is the Miami Heat at 5.5. Expect Miami to slow the pace, control the boards, and take advantage of Boston's missed threes with transition buckets. Wiggins will debut with energy, Herro will deliver a statement game, and Bam will be the anchor that holds it all together. This won't just be close, it'll be a battle. On to Game 4.
Game 4: Sacramento Kings vs. Dallas Mavericks. Alright, let's not waste any time. Sacramento just snapped a 2-game skid with a win over New Orleans, but here's the thing: do you really trust this version of the Kings without De'Aaron Fox? They've brought in DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, sure, but this team isn't the same dynamic force that could light up the scoreboard while keeping opponents on their heels. Their defense. Let's be honest, it's paper thin. They allow 115.4 points per game and rank 29th in the league in 3-point defense, allowing opponents to hit 37.7% from beyond the arc. Now, Dallas. You might be thinking, but Anthony Davis and PJ Washington are game-time decisions, right? Sure, but even without them, this Mavericks team has plenty of firepower and depth to take down Sacramento. Kyrie Irving is in command, averaging 24.1 points per game, and he's been here before. Thrives in tight games against teams with shaky defense. And let's not forget Max Christie, who's quietly been averaging 17.7 points in just 3 games with the Mavs. His ability to stretch the floor will be critical in exploiting Sacramento's weak perimeter defense. Dallas isn't just about offensively holding opponents to 4 to 5.7% shooting, good for 9th in the league. They've been winning the efficiency battle on both ends of the floor. Sacramento might be scoring 116.2 per game, but they give almost all of it back. The Kings will put up points, but they won't get the stops when it matters most. And today's AI pick is the Dallas Mavericks on the moneyline. Here's how this plays out. Kyrie will control the tempo, and the Mavs' efficient 3-point shooting 9th in the league will expose Sacramento's inability to defend the perimeter. Even if Anthony Davis doesn't suit up, Dallas has enough to win this outright. Expect Christie to step up again, and the Mavericks to make their statement as a team poised to rise in the Western Conference standings. On to Game 5.
Game 5, Utah Jazz vs. Los Angeles Lakers. Alright, this game might look like a mismatch on the surface. But that's exactly why we're taking the Jazz plus 13.5. Hear me out. Utah's been on a rough stretch, sure, 11 losses in their last 13 games, but this is the NBA, where nothing ever stays predictable. The Jazz are getting key players back, and even if they're still missing a few pieces, their depth will be enough to keep this within striking distance. Let's not forget Jordan Clarkson's 24-point performance against the Clippers. He's not shy when it comes to stepping up in tough situations. Lauri Markkanen, John Collins, and Walker Kessler have been the backbone when healthy. And if they suit up, they'll bring enough scoring punch and rebounding to slow down the Lakers' momentum. The Jazz hit 13.8 threes per game, 11th in the league, and their shooting could quietly chip away at LA's lead. Now, Los Angeles. They're hot right now, winners of 5 straight, but they're not invincible. The Lakers let Indiana claw back from a 25-point deficit before barely holding on for the win. If they let Utah hang around the same way, this 13.5 spread could evaporate faster than LeBron's post-game speeches. Speaking of LeBron, his status is up in the air, and Luka Doncic is still questionable. Without them, you're betting on Austin Reeves, who just dropped a career-high 45 points. Impressive, but can you bank on a repeat performance? This isn't about Utah winning outright. This is about staying within that big cushion, and with the Lakers' habit of letting teams sneak back into games, I like our chances. And today's AI pick is, the Utah Jazz at plus 13.5. Now, let's do a quick recap of all 5 picks. Game 1, Orlando Magic, 5.5, Game 2, Cleveland Cavaliers, 8.5, Game 3, Miami Heat, plus 5.5, Game 4, Dallas Mavericks on the money line. Game 5, Utah Jazz plus 113.5, there you have it. 5 games, 5 sharp takes, and 1 AI system that's ready to beat the books. Make sure to like and subscribe, and as always, we'll see you at the top.